Fake to Connor. Murray on the rollout, looking deep for Harrison! Marvin Harrison Jr. to the end zone! Touchdown again!
Welcome back to your Valley Sports Plugs Arizona Cardinals recap for Game 2 of the 2024-2025 season. I'm Chris Patrick with Michael Benjamin, and we're here to break it all down for you. Week 2 saw the Redbirds back at home for the first time this season as they welcomed the Los Angeles Rams to State Farm Stadium in Glendale. The Cardinals weren't playing around in this one and were able to take advantage of a beat-up Rams squad to grab their first win of the season, 41-10 over Los Angeles. They are now 1-1 on the young season. Now let's get right into the nitty-gritty, Mike. What are your thoughts on this Week 2 matchup?
Chris, I'm probably like most Arizona Cardinals fans, but where do I begin with this absolute shellacking of the Los Angeles Rams at the hand of your Arizona Cardinals? The Arizona Cardinals absolutely dominated in all three phases of this football game. We were basically kind of in uncharted territory. Really think back at the last time that an Arizona Cardinals team was this dominant in all four quarters. It was something awesome to see. But let's start with the offense. Almost 500 total yards. We did say that this was the strength of the team, and they showed it. And we got to start off with the number one guy, right? Marvin was starving, and he was fed very, very early, right in the first quarter. 2 beautiful touchdowns to start his career. And my favorite thing too, Chris, on 2 occasions on the goal line, they went to the famous fade. Man, I got shades of Larry Fitzgerald. Now, they didn't convert, but just think, when Kyler and Marv start getting on the same page with that, you're talking about easy touchdowns coming very, very often. But man, this offensive line was absolutely stellar, just creating huge holes for the bell cow, James Conner, 122 yards and a touchdown. Chris, I will say he was dancing around a couple of times, running a little bit backwards, but then he started hitting those gaps and was the bruiser that we've known to come, as James Conner has been on this Arizona Cardinals team. But 3 straight scoring drives is always a recipe success to start any game. And then we can't leave out this defense, man. I mean, you think about the start of this game, we give off a pretty large kickoff return where they start almost at midfield. And then we force a 4th down stop. Buddha, beautiful, helped out by Garrett Williams. Buddha had another key 3rd down stop on the goal line to end the half, where Matthew Stafford ended up throwing that ball over and that penalty was declined. So we go in with a huge lead and it just continued from there. But this defense, we know we talked about the issues with the pressures, 5 total sacks, 3 from our guy, Dennis Gardeck, and a forced fumble, 12 tackles for loss. I mean, they just contained Kyren Williams the entire day. Chris, this is like what I'm saying. Where do you begin? I mean, Matt Prater is making 57-yarders look easy. It was just almost a tear shedder of a game and just absolutely impressive from this Arizona Cardinals team. But we have to remember, this was absolutely necessary after not winning any divisional games last year. And this is also 10 years since the last time the Arizona Cardinals have beat the Los Angeles Rams in State Farm Stadium. Okay, a little bit less than 10 years. November 9th, 2014, the Cardinals beat the Los Angeles Rams. At that time, they were St. Louis, 31-14. But absolutely impressive. I cannot wait to dive further into this team as the season goes along. But Chris, I'm just stupefied by how incredible this Cardinals team played, man.
Mike, you're absolutely right. I am just at a loss for words. What I saw on Sunday was nothing short of spectacular and everything a Cardinals fan could ask for. Kyler Murray and Drew Petzing heard the noise and got the ball where it needed to go this week. And the Cardinals are picking up right where they left off last year with the brutal ground assault. They racked up 231 yards on the ground total. The Cards also had 489 yards of total offense, just absolutely devastating for the Rams. You love to see it. I think this speaks to the bigger picture that we've been talking about, where the defense might be lacking a little bit. So we need our offense to be absolutely bruising and putting up the numbers in bunches. And they did that this week. Now, I know the Rams are a little bit beat up. They went into this game down Puka Nacua. They lost Cooper Kupp early. Kyron Williams didn't show up like they had all hoped he would. But man, I'll take the win. It's something we needed, and it's something we got. Now let's see if we can get that again and sweep the Rams. Mike, you said it best, though. The defense did show up. Budda Baker especially. He made some absolutely massive plays, including that stop on the goal line that made me jump up and down with excitement. Definitely a contender for player of the recap, I would think. But Mike, we're bringing it back in week 2. So who you got?
Chris, we've said it before, but choosing a player of the recap for this week was a challenge. You said it, man. Could have went to a handful of guys. Dennis Gardeck with his 3 sacks, Budda Baker flying all over the field, Mack Wilson continuing to bolster that linebacker core as well. But for me, I had to go with the guy who is in the prove-it year, as some would say. I had to go with K1, our quarterback, Kyler Murray. What an absolutely incredible performance. 17 of 21 through the air for 266 yards, 3 touchdowns. The legs look incredible again as well, Chris. 5 carries for 59 yards, continuing to keep plays moving along, poise in the pocket, extending plays, and looking downfield to make them, man. It was just awesome to see, and it was vintage K1 at this point within his career, man. Just pinpoint precision laser to Marv for that first TD. He's putting a ball where only Trey McBride can get it. He had a nice 25-yard out right in the pocket for Michael Wilson as well on the sideline between defenders. But the biggest thing is Kyler was only the 3rd Cardinals quarterback since 1960 to finish a game with a perfect passer rating. He started to put those questions to bed today. I'm so excited to see where this offense continues to go. And it is helmed by our guy, Kyler Murray. So absolutely, Chris, had to go with him for player of the recap. But who you got this week?
Mike, I'm going to have to keep it on the offensive side of the ball and go with our rookie wide receiver, Marvin Harrison Jr. This is exactly what we were hoping to get out of him. He grabbed his first and second career touchdowns in the first quarter, including that sexy toe tapper in the back of the end zone. Dare I say shades of Santonio Holmes? But that might be a conversation for another day. He racked up 130 yards through the air to go along with those 2 touchdowns. This was truly a statement performance that I think he can build on to become a premier receiver in this league and be everything he was promised to be when we drafted him. And speaking of promises, he kept his from earlier in the week when he said that he needed to do a better job, and I'd say he did it. Now, he did only have 4 catches on 8 targets, so hard to imagine what he could have done if he had hauled in just a couple more there, but not necessarily his fault. We'll take what we can get. And like I said, certainly something to build on. I'm excited what he's able to do in week 3 and beyond. And speaking of week 3, Mike, next week, the Arizona Cardinals will host the Detroit Lions at State Farm Stadium. Kickoff is slated for 1:25 p.m. local time. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to keep bringing you weekly recaps of the Arizona Cardinals throughout this season. So make sure you like and subscribe so you can stay up to date on all the Valley Sports and Arizona Cardinals action. But for Michael Benjamin, I'm Chris Patrick. We'll see you next time. Peace.
Cardinals fans, it's time to stand and bring in your